Today I'm going to show you how we transplant our poblanos and our tomatoes to get them ready for the garden. All of our tomatoes and poblanos germinated, so they're definitely ready to be transplanted into these cups. We just use these red plastic cups. I've already done one. This is the new pink, it's called. But I'm going to show you how we do this. So I'm going to do a Chef's Choice pink tomato in this cup. And I've kind of labeled it so we know what's what. My son heated up a nail and melted 3 holes in the bottom, because when we're all finished transplanting these, we're going to put water in the bottom of the tray. And these are going to suck up as much water as they need. So we're going to get started. I'm going to start with just a little bit of soil in the bottom.
This is just regular potting mix.
Put a little more in there. And this is one of our Chef's Choice pinks. We had 2 germinate in this one, but you can see when I peel off the netting from the peat pod, you can see the roots there. And I'm going to separate this very carefully. And we're only going to plant, I think it's 2 of these in the garden, so we're going to pick out the best 2. And this is a really good one. So I've got that separated, and I'm going to kind of dig a little hole in that soil and put that right in there. Try to get it as close to the middle as you can, and just kind of press down a little bit. And then I'm going to fill in, actually I'm going to spritz this a little bit with some water from the spray bottle. I don't really like to do this in the sink or anything, because then all the soil just kind of floats to the top. So the spray bottle just helps keep that soil where it's supposed to be. And then I'm going to add.
So before Nikki buries this, if you look on the edge of these roots, or on the edge of the stem, we're going to bury this all the way up to the leaves on top. Every one of those little hairs and follicles on that stem is a potential root. So in order to make this grow the healthiest, deepest set of roots we can, we bury these as deep as we can.
All right, I'm going to set this here. I'm just going to kind of go around the plant. That pretty close to the top. If you get some on the plant, just kind of brush it off. It's not a problem. All right, so I think that's good. Just kind of make sure you smush it down a little bit. And then I'm gonna take the spray bottle again. Go around and make sure it's fairly saturated. Like I said, when we're all finished transplanting these, there's going to be water in the bottom of the trays, so it will just take up as much water as it needs. And I'll put that over here. So this next one, I'm going to show you what we do for our Cherokee carbons. And again, 3 holes in the bottom. I'm going to label this one. The Cherokee carbons do not get a whole lot of nutrients from these peat pods. So we add some Epsom salt to it, just so for the phosphorus. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll put a little bit of soil in the bottom. And we always plant 2 of the Cherokee carbons in the garden every year. And then we also transplant extras just in case some of them don't survive. We have extra because the Cherokee carbons are our favorite. So I got the soil on the bottom there, and this is one of our Cherokee carbons. Again, I'm gonna pick out the best looking ones for this. And just kind of carefully split it in half. And then put that in the middle. I'm actually going to put about a half a teaspoon of the Epsom salt in here before I add any more soil. And this really helps get the purple color. You can see how purple that is under that leaf. That's from the lack of nutrients just from the peat pods. So this is why we do the Epsom salt. And it really helps them to establish better roots, and so the stems get a little thicker because right now they're a little spindly. But I'm going to spray this and add some more of the soil. We use the Cherokee carbons in pretty much everything in the summertime in our recipes. Nate likes them just plain with cottage cheese, but I'll use all our tomatoes actually in a pico that I make every summer. But they're a pretty tomato. They're really hearty and meaty, so. All right, so that's pretty close to the top of those leaves. So I'm gonna spray this again.
Getting these into cups, we won't have to babysit them near as much as we did with the peat pods. We were having to water every day and sometimes check them twice a day to make sure they weren't drying out. So once we get these established in the cups and on the heat lamp or the heat mat and under the lamps, they'll be growing really fast.
And that's about it for transplanting. I'm gonna finish these up, and then we will meet down in the basement and get these on the heating mat and under the lamps again. All right, so we have everything transplanted into our cups. Everything is labeled. Everything has been spritzed with some water. I'm gonna just fill each of these trays, and all of these plants will take in as much water as they need. So I put probably, I don't know, maybe an inch or so of water in the bottom of these trays. But this is kind of finishing up some of our garden stuff. The tomatoes and peppers will be put in our garden probably within the next 6 weeks or so. But we're going to keep these on this heated mat underneath the lights. So after you get the water in there, you just push these back and make sure everything is under there. Everything will stay nice and warm. And these will grow fairly fast, so I plan on doing an update here probably within the next week or two. But yeah, stay tuned for my next video. Nate and I will be out in the garden. We're going to show you how we put together our pea trellis. We'll get our peas and kohlrabi in the ground.